Here are some of the most dangerous animals in the water. And did you know, the Portuguese Man-o-War is not a jellyfish? Number 10. Titan Triggerfish. If you think you know someone that gets triggered easily, wait until you hear about the Titan Triggerfish. This fish is easily triggered. These fish will go to town on basically anything that it perceives as a threat, and there is almost no stopping them. The main reason is that it's extremely protective of its nest. Females from the species are known to attack anything that comes anywhere close, and they perceive threats from the nests all the way to the surface of the water. So, when divers or snorkelers get bitten, their best defense is not to swim vertically to the surface, it's to swim horizontally away. Many divers and snorkelers have had to learn the hard way. When their nesting area is approached by someone, the Titan Triggerfish speeds towards them and bites whatever they can. And these bites aren't love taps or anything. It's in their extreme ferocity with their attack that they're known for. Titan Triggerfish have extremely sharp teeth along with a strong bite. Divers bitten typically need to leave the water immediately to get medical attention. And it's not limited to humans either. Diving equipment or even cameras are considered a threat. Basically, you'll want to swim away fast if you see a triggerfish. Number 9. Electric eel. Just how dangerous are electric eels? It's not just any kind of species that is able to actually produce electric shocks. The average shock from an electric eel lasts about 0.02 of a second. The pain supposedly isn't too bad. Apparently it's a brief muscle contraction and then numbness. But who wants to go through that? And what comes as even more of a surprise is the recent finding that electric eels are actually able to jump and attack out of the water. Current researchers have studied how eels would jump out of the water to attack after being approached. By leaping, the eel is able to create a higher voltage that electrocutes bigger portions of their attacker. This lunging strategy enables electric eels to deliver much of their electrical power directly to whatever they perceive as a threat. Normally, their electricity isn't evenly distributed throughout the water around them. Some eels are able to discharge an 860 volts of electricity. That's more than 5 times the voltage of a standard American wall socket. But don't worry, even though it hurts, the amperage is too low to cause serious harm to humans. This adds another layer to their already infamous reputation. Number 8. Stingrays. Known for their bat-like looks, stingrays roam the seas with their size. Some of them can measure up to 14 feet long. While stingrays are known for their venomous sting, stingrays only use their venom when they feel under attack. And that's why, if you see a stingray in the wild, you should use extreme caution. They're not going to go after you, but they don't like being surprised. The most famous stingray attack happened in 2006 when Steve Irwin was stung by a bull ray right in his chest. Stingrays are actually considered docile and friendly, but when they feel threatened, their attack is deadly. Their venomous barb is covered by a tightly sealed sheath that's only used in extreme cases. This barb can measure up to 8 inches long, and it can easily penetrate through pretty much anything. Number 7. Stonefish. Stepping on a sharp rock in the water sucks. Stepping on a stonefish with venomous spikes, it sucks even more. If you recognize a stonefish, you're going to want to stop walking around in that water. Stonefish is one of the most venomous fish in the world, and they also have something else to add to their reputation: their camouflage. The stonefish is able to disguise itself almost exactly like a rock. This is a trait that comes in handy when it comes to catching prey. As natural predators, they become one with the coral reefs and the rocks surrounding them. They simply wait for their victims to come close to them. Once they're close, they grab them and eat them in a matter of seconds. Really, it's microseconds. Apparently, that's how fast their attack can be. But we really don't have to worry about that. The main thing is to not step on them. Stonefish have 13 spines along their body, all of them filled with highly potent venom. Although they're considered one of the most venomous fish in the ocean, stonefish don't intentionally attack humans. Their spines are merely a defense mechanism from getting eaten or getting stepped on. Number 6. Box jellyfish. You know to get away from jellyfish, right? It's well known that they can pose a real danger. Jellyfish are known for their venomous tentacles, which sting anything that comes in contact with them. Well, some species are definitely a lot more dangerous than others. The box jellyfish is definitely one example. These guys move much faster than other jellyfish. speeds of up to 20 feet per minute have been recorded. Their tentacles are filled with stinging cells that contain organelles filled with venom, and these tentacles definitely are dangerous. The worst part is you may not even see the tentacle that hits you. Their tentacles are so long, the box jellyfish that you thought was far away is actually really close. However, what's interesting is that these tentacles don't fire their venom on contact with something. They fire depending on the chemicals they sense, such as the chemicals given off by your skin. Who knew? Speaking of things we didn't know, be sure to check out our video to find out surprising facts about your pet that you most likely did not know about. Anyways, the box jellyfish's nervous system is more developed than that of many other jellyfish. They've been described as having an active behavior, just like that of any other animal. So, if you see a box jellyfish just floating around, who knows? Maybe it's swimming right towards you for some odd reason. Number 5. Cone snail. Even the most innocent looking of animals can be deceiving. Plenty of animals in the sea look like art, just like textile cone snail. As its name indicates, this type of snail is a colorful cone that can lure someone into grabbing it and taking it home. What you should know is that while these snails do look cool, they're extremely dangerous. Things can escalate extremely quickly without you even noticing it. If you disturb or frighten a cone snail, now you won't need to get out of the water if you see one of these guys, but you just don't want to get close to them. Snails may be slow, but they're fast with their attack. When they feel a prey is nearby, they stick out basically a needle-like protrusion from their mouth that contains an extremely potent venom. The sting from this needle can be extremely subtle because the venom has pain-stopping properties. So this makes the stab painless and quick. Although most venomous snails aren't that potent, the textile cone snail's venom is. The only reason humans come in contact with a cone snail is if someone steps on it or picks one up, something you do not want to do. Number 4. Needlefish. Animal attacks can happen anywhere, anytime. But what if the animal actually looks like it was made to attack humans? A needlefish might be just that. Its anatomy is true to its name. The fish has a pointy, needle-like beak that also houses some ultra-sharp teeth. Needlefish injuries have become more common recently throughout the years. Numerous vacationers have been speared by needlefish, and a lot of the attacks have had serious injuries. Needlefish are long and slim. Couple that with their ability to jump out of the water at nearly 40 miles per hour, and that's what makes them so dangerous. Their quickness doesn't give you much time to react to any sort of attack. Needlefish are able to easily pierce through a person's chest or back, and because they're highly sensitive to light, it can be dangerous for someone in the water at night. Night fishermen and divers have been attacked by schools of suddenly excited needlefish diving towards their light source at high speeds. Number 3. Striped surgeonfish. Most of the time, the cooler and the more colorful something looks, the more dangerous it is. Strong, stimulating colors are usually the signal of a creature that might be a threat if you happen to bump into it in the middle of the ocean. This is true for the striped surgeonfish, a common species in the Pacific. This less than friendly fish is capable of cutting right through you. Whenever it's in danger, the striped surgeonfish activates its very effective defense mechanism. On the base of its tail and all along the sides of its body, the surgeonfish has sharp spines. The striped surgeonfish is the only type of surgeonfish whose spines are actually venomous. They're known to navigate shallow waters and the surrounding areas of coral reefs. Number 2. Portuguese Man-o-War. The Portuguese Man-o-War is often mistaken for jellyfish, but it's not. It's actually not even an it, but rather it's a they. Portuguese Man-o-Wars are an animal made up of a colony of organisms working together. Its main part is the gas-filled bladder located on the upper part of the body. That's the part that looks like a jellyfish, but isn't. It's just one of the 4 polyps that shape its structure. Its tentacles, which can reach up to a whopping 165 feet in length. These tentacles are filled with venom that's used to paralyze fish. Thankfully, the average length of the tentacles is around 30 feet long, although that's still a lot if you're asking us. If you see these guys, you'll definitely want to get out of the water immediately. Their sting is extremely painful, although it's not dangerous. Even when these guys aren't alive, the tentacles can still cause harm. The good news is, these guys don't have any way of swimming closer to you since they don't have any propulsion system. All they can do is drift and either inflate or deflate their bladder with air to sink or rise. Number 1. Pufferfish. Pufferfish are a common species of the Pacific Ocean near Japan, Korea, Philippines, and Mexico. Don't be fooled by their funny looks when they're puffed up. They're highly venomous and extremely dangerous when they're in that condition. Their skin, liver, gonads, muscle tissue, basically their whole body is filled with tetrodotoxin. Pufferfish is a delicacy in Japan with very real dangers. But this isn't what you're worried about when you're in the water. You'll want to be staying away from their venomous spikes. Basically, if you get spiked with a large amount of tetrodotoxin, you won't be able to do anything. Their venom causes muscle paralysis to the point to where your diaphragm can stop working and you can't breathe. Watch this next video to learn about things you had no clue about your pet.